Because I have seen that there were people online who were like, I want a season 2. And I really want people to, if you think you want a season 2 of Moon Lovers, I really want you to.
What would we do?
Yeah, I need you to sit with that. I really do. What do you think is going to happen in season 2 of Moon Lovers?
Annyeonghaseyo, welcome to Afternoona Delight, where Lia, Megan, and Amy, romance novelists and your K-romance guides. So grab some dekboki and listen to your new favorite unease.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Well, you may think it's just Megan or Lia here talking to themselves because everyone thinks we sound the same. But
I know.
Today, you just have Megan and Lia, and we have no Amy because Amy did not finish the drama that we're talking about today, which is Moon Lovers.
Right. And I think we can get more into this later, but I also think it's not an Amy drama.
Agree. We think it's for the best.
we think Amy will enjoy her time watching other dramas more. So we
Agreed.
Just so you know, it's not like she slacked like I do often slack. No, we like specifically were like, this probably isn't for you, and it's 20 episodes. So
I didn't want to have an angry Amy who'd watched 20 episodes of this and then was like just pissed.
I think she would be. I truly think she would be mad at us, and that's why this is probably for the best because I'm full of joy.
Oh, I mean, this is my top 5. So let's be real.
I'm so excited.
Before we get into it, I just wanted to share because, we normally do a little bit of banter and I wanted to share something that's been bringing me a lot of enjoyment. And you know a little bit about this, but our listeners not so much, which is right now my son is overseas. He's in Japan on a sister city exchange. So there's a delegation of youth from my town who have gone to their sister city in Japan. It's a pretty quick trip. It's only 10 days. And it's been really fun. So first of all, I had to tell Megan and Amy on Slack, the day he went to the airport, my husband took him because he was also going overseas. So it was like just good timing. They both went to San Francisco airport together. And my husband calls me and is weeping on the phone, literally weeping. Like, oh my God, our little baby is on the plane going to Japan by himself, like with a group.
Right.
He's not alone, but like, oh my God.
Right.
I felt like I was back in kindergarten when like all these parents were crying at kindergarten and like no shit. Like if anyone cries at everything, like I cry at random, but I did not. Like I was at kindergarten stone cold eyed. Like,
yeah, same, by the way, same.
And then for this, zero tears. In fact, like I was like, I'm actually just excited because I think for me, and so it's not to dismiss it. Like my husband has been going through, I think it's interesting because we land in different spots with them getting older. And I also wonder where this comes from in terms of raising responsibilities that we've had. Because I was a stay-at-home mom, especially for my son. Like, I was at home hard until he was probably 10. And so, writing and stuff, but I was like there. And the toddler era and stuff like that, like my husband went to work every day and I was like in the toddler trenches, which I know you know about.
Oh my God, yes.
I was not a thriving toddler parent. Like again,
neither was I.
Love my children. I love all iterations. And I also don't want to make too many disclaimers because I think it's fine to normalize. Like there's hard aspects of parenting. We all know this. And I think certain people are just kind of better suited for different time periods. Like I was really well suited for being a baby mom, actually, because I can handle no sleep better than so many people. And so that was like my time to shine. You were just shaking your head like that was a very...
No, I strongly disliked the baby and toddler stage. I feel like, not to like cut you off, but like right now, like adolescent, kind of like preteen, teen, I actually feel like this is my time to shine with them because I feel like on an emotional level, I can handle what's going on with them emotionally. Where my husband is like struggling. My husband was like actually really good with babies and toddlers. I think he's like more struggling now dealing with like the emotions of maturity,
So same. So, and let me be clear. Babies, I have a delineation between babies I was good at. Toddlers, not so good at. Or my happiness was like high and then very low, like my life happiness.
Right.
And so I think that now I'm back to like, this is my time to shine again. Like I like especially upper middle school into high school. Like high school actually has been great for me.
Right.
And my husband's having a lot of this like, oh my gosh, he's, our son is 16. Like in 2 more years, he's going to be a legal adult. He's going to like go and do things like, oh my God, like having just kind of like this like crisis of like our child is growing.
Right.
And I am not. And I think that's interesting because I'm like, is it some of it that, I don't, he's like, I have so much nostalgia for like those like little years. I'm like, oh, I do not.
Right.
I'm glad I had them. And I mean, I'm not trying to be like a doom and gloomer, but like, am I desiring to go back to that? No, 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 no.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
I have like a vivid memory. So I would often, you remember like the big yoga balls
Yeah.
everyone used to have? I feel like no one has those anymore. But we had like this big yoga ball. And when my son was like a baby, I would just hold him and bounce on the yoga ball to like put him to sleep. And I remember he would not sleep. He was crying. I was violently bouncing on this yoga ball. Like, I mean, and then also crying myself. And that's like a core memory. Is that awful that that's like one of
No,
my core memories
it's
from
honest.
babyhood? It's a core memory. And I don't know. I don't know if I would go back and spend a day I don't know, for like $1 million. I mean, it was so hard. Like my kids right now, I enjoy them an immense amount. Like, I like spending time with them. I like talking to them about what's going on at school. I like talking to their friends. I like hearing school gossip. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way, man. But I do get the nostalgia though. I do sometimes when I see how much they've grown or things like that.
And I
But
feel like
not,
you're a Pisces, my husband's if
yeah,
anything, I feel like sometimes you're like my Nick whisperer, where
I
you'll be like,
am.
"This is why he's acting this way," because 'cause I'll be like, what's happening?"
Yeah, because we talked about this before, I think, but like you're a lot like my husband.
Mm.
The way you react to Nick is like the way my husband sometimes will react to me. Um, but yeah, I feel like I do understand Nick. I really do. I
You
do.
do, and I really it makes me appreciate him more to hear your takes, it really does. So
Yeah.
anyway, so my son takes off into the, wild blue yonder. He's gone for like, I knew it was a long flight, so he started to reach out to me. It is interesting to see, like, I'm gonna have to murder him to get a photo. Like, every time I text with him, I'm like, "Send me a pic." I have
Right.
2 pics. One is a blurry photo out a window of an island, which is pretty, and one is, like a poorly lit, like something he was eating, which is good. I asked for food, but I'm like,
Yeah.
literally, give me pics.
Right.
So luckily they have like a Google chat, like I don't know what you call like a photo group chat. So like,
Mhm.
chaperones and other kids, I guess, can drop photos in. So I'm like, oh, they are seeing cherry blossoms. Like this is what it looks like where they are. And so what's happening is he flew into Osaka. They spent the night and then they drove 3 hours to this town he's in, which is called Shingu. It's a little town on the east coast of Japan. It's only like 20,000 people. That's our sister city.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
he's
so
staying.
cool.
It's so cool. And so
I'm really I'm highly, highly jealous.
well, so what's interesting is pretty much every other family has 2 kids staying. He had said he kind of wanted to stay by himself and they had an odd number, so he's the one alone.
Mhm.
And then every other family, it looks like, speaks like a relative high degree of English, except for so his family wrote on their form, "We speak no English." And I was like, you know what? You speak 3 words of Japanese,
Yeah.
essentially. So like
Go figure it out.
fair is fair. I was like, we have modern technology to help you out in this.
Exactly.
So it's really cute. There's like a 5-year-old and a 9-year-old in the house, and then the mom and dad who are like my age-ish, but I'm old. I'm definitely older than both of them. And they seem really sweet. So I saw like the pictures of them meeting, like the little girl was in pigtails. Like they just look like a really cute family.
So cute. You shared pictures. Adorable. The little
Yeah.
girl in her pigtails. So cute.
And so we sent them gifts. And then like my son, the 11th hour had a good thought because I guess the boy had shared he collected coins. So at the last minute, my son just gathered all these American coins, just like quarters and pennies and random stuff
Yeah.
in the bag. I guess that was a big hit.
Aw.
So, but he FaceTimed me last night because he also doesn't really think about time change. And that's fine. I'm happy to talk to him. But he called me at like 2 in the morning. and he like had just settled and so like I could see like the room he's in. It's like a traditional Japanese style house. He had like some time to sit in the room and just kind of like chill. And I was honestly like, you know what? I'm glad you have that. Like, I kind of do want you to like go help make dinner some nights and stuff. But like tonight,
Mhm.
I can see like you just got here, you're exhausted. And he was like, he was being positive as he could. He was like, they're very sweet. Like, they're being very nice to me. He's like, I'm a little overwhelmed. He's like, I'm a little overwhelmed. I think I underestimated how much the language barrier was going to like affect me in terms of like,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
and so that was fine. But then we had this like thing where I'm like, sometimes you go on vacation. Like, my sister right now is in Tulum. That's a vacation. Like,
Mhm.
she's not there to, like, stretch and grow. She is there to swim and
Right.
eat and drink and be merry. And
There's
I'm like,
vacation and then there's
yeah,
traveling.
and I'm like, "You are traveling, so you're
Right.
in periods that are gonna be uncomfortable. They're gonna be lonely sometimes. You're not there very long, but, like, you will have you're in that. And then when you come back, you're gonna unpack it and you're gonna see how awesome it was, but, like, there's times within it that it's not that are gonna feel hard."
Right.
And
Right.
so I thought that that was kind of like a fun, like and so this is again where I'm happy to see him start to have those experiences even at 16 to be like sometimes I think he's more of a vacation kid, like when we talk about things. And I keep trying to explain like, and I really want you to travel and here's what I want you to get out of it. So I'm really curious when he comes back and he's like settled in and like caught up on his sleep. I kind of want to hear where he's at with it because it is interesting to me, like, I was somebody who really valued travel when I was younger, and to hear him be, like, more of, like, "I would like to go somewhere for, like, 2 weeks and stay in a hotel and have fun," and so I was like, "I really push this experience, like, I really want you to have it, and then come back and, like, let's debrief to see if this is something you would like to do more of." So, we'll see.
I love it. Neil and I are also travelers. My kids are more of vacationers.
Yeah. And it could be an age thing too, I don't know.
Yeah. So I'm excited to hear all about it. And yeah, I'm like wildly jealous. I would love to go to Japan. And just the thought of like being like really immersing yourself in the culture because you're living with a
Yeah.
family, like that is so cool to me.
So, the grandma came over last night and cooked for him, and so when he called me, he was like, he, like, texted me this morning. He said she made 3 courses, a 3-course meal for him, and according to the translator, kept telling him he was handsome, which is really cute,
That is so sweet.
and then he was like and the grandpa came by to visit, and the grandpa bought him KFC, which killed me. I was like, "That is such a sweet grandpa move." He's probably like, the American boy is just I'm like, "I
Just
don't think Jer's ever had KFC."
just
And
throw
so
fried chicken at the American boy. Just
yeah.
that's so cute.
So,
My kids love KFC.
I mean, my son likes chicken, but we don't even have KFC here. They got
Yeah.
Wingstop. I don't know if you have
We do
Wingstop.
have Wingstop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he's like a Wingstop kid, but, like, anyway, I just thought it was really sweet of them because they were clearly like, "Okay,
Trying.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
try
they're
it."
like this is a great experience for them too, I'm sure. Like this is very cool.
And it sits on my mind because this summer, and I'll be sharing a little more, protecting privacy, of course, but we're gonna be having to because of this exchange, we have 2 middle schoolers that are gonna come stay with us next summer from the same town.
So cool.
Yep. And so Jared keeps saying that their bathroom is, like, so amazing. He's like, "Oh my god, it's, like, so advanced. It's like spa, the toilet." I'm like, I feel like I'm gonna be like, "Welcome to the
Right?
14th century, kids."
I know, right? I heard Japan is like super clean.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, "Here's the toilet paper because we are barbarians." I'm
Yeah.
still having this, like, conversation, TMI, and we'll get to it now, but yeah, I want a bidet in our house so bad, and you know what? I just need to get it while Nick's gone because he keeps, like, arguing why we can't have one. I just need to do it one of these times when he's on a big trip and just be like he comes back, I'm like, "Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, same. Neil and I have had this conversation. We're
Meet
like,
your new toilet."
well, both of us want it. It's just a matter of like biting the bullet and buying it.
Yeah, I
But
think
we
I just
both,
need to buy one and get a plumber to put it in and be like, "Nick, this is our life now."
this is our life. Our assholes are clean.
Yeah, yeah, we are no longer yeah. Anyway, I find it yeah, I could go on and I will not because you know what? No one wants to hear me deep dive that.
You know who probably didn't have bidets? The characters in Moon Lovers.
But they had hot springs.
They did. They did have hot springs.
Okay, so I did a podcast on Moon Lovers years ago now with
Yeah.
Sarah from K-Drama This.
Mm-hmm.
She so I fell into this because I saw The Mask. So I'm just going to set up like how I got to Moon Lovers, because I got to it like you watched it because it came out on Viki.
Correct.
I had to crawl like on my belly through, like I was on like the Hell Bridge, like Egon, trying to like get to the show.
Oh shit, we haven't talked about the Hell Knives Bridge in a while.
So I saw The Mask, and I saw the iconic moment where IU kneels in the palace courtyard, and like Ijin Gi opens up the coat like a black crow of death and like kind of covers her with the thing. And it was an iconic scene. And I was like, whatever that is, I'm like, that's for me. And I need to find a way to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get into the specifics, but there's ways to watch things that I try not to, but I know exist.
Mm-hmm.
And I went on
You were desperate.
Desperate.
You had no other way to watch this, and you were desperate.
No other way.
Yeah.
The first way I watched it, I have discussed in the past, was so poor that there were whole episodes where 80% of the episode was just close-ups of mouths moving.
Right, because that's how they beat essentially like the kind of like the copyright automation thing, is so they like changed the whole.
So I mention it only to say that's like, I think people could have a lukewarm meh reaction on this, but I also feel like it's kind of a drama that you either are going to be like, yes, 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 or like, nah, I'm good.
Right. So I watched episode 1 finally, like bit the bullet, because Lia chose it as like, she's like, let's all 3 of us watch the first episode and then talk about it for like our trope-tastic first episode series. So that was why I watched the first episode finally. And I was actually like, I said this during that episode, which that's like a few weeks ago. So if you want to listen to how all 3 of us felt about the first episode, check it out. But I said at the time, I felt like I was finally ready to watch Moon Lovers. Like, I feel like I was in the headspace where I wanted to also like completely disengage from reality. Like, like right now in America, I wanted to completely disengage from reality. And what better way than to like go back to Goryeo? And so first of all, I need to say this is a soap opera in Goryeo. Like, that is all. It is a Goryeoan. I made up that word, soap opera. And there's no hats in sight. No, I mean, maybe a few. Okay, a few hats. Very few hats.
You unpack your hate on the hats at some point, or
I know,
but just like because I really like a Gap, but we'll get into that.
I don't know. I don't know what my deal is. I dislike it. Okay, it like throws me off because they all have the same hats, and that's hard for me to distinguish between the characters and whatever. But I right away was like, I think this is for me. And then I started watching it. And what was funny is because you were like in LA when I was like watching.
No, I was in, well, I think this straddled, I don't know if it straddled Chicago. I definitely was in Oakland, but I think you watched this during my entire J-Hope show journey.
So she's out of town and I'm still just like bombing her DMs because I'm just like, you will respond. I know you're at J-Hope on the stage. I don't care. You will read.
And I want to respond.
You did
always want to respond.
You actually did almost all, like you responded actually fairly quickly for everything. Because I was like losing it in her DMs. And we don't have we don't have a script for tonight because we were like, we're
going to raw dog it.
So I had predictions during when we talked about the first episode and I was wrong.
Okay. So what were some predictions you had?
So I thought that Kang Han Nul's character, so he's the 8th prince. Before we get into it, I just want to read the IMDb like log line because I actually think it's really good for Moon Lovers because the one on Asian Wiki I don't like, but I thought this was really good. So Ha Jin travels 1,000 years back in time and lands in the era of Goryeo dynasty as a young girl named Hae Soo. Ha Jin, now trapped in another person's body, becomes involved in a power struggle against various vicious contenders to the throne. How good is that?
That's good.
I actually think that's really a good summary of it without like getting into like too many details. So the deal is too, there's a love triangle. So there's a love triangle between IU, who plays Heisu, and two of the princes of essentially the founding father of Goryeo, like the first emperor of Goryeo. And the love triangle is between the eighth prince and the fourth prince. And the eighth prince is played by Kang Han Nul. And when Heisu first goes back in time, she lives in the eighth prince's house because her cousin is married to the eighth prince. But the eighth prince is clearly in love with IU. And so when they first introduced him in the first episode, he was almost too nice. Like, I thought he would then turn out to be actually like an evil character underneath all that niceness. Like, I thought it would. Do you know what I'm saying? And that isn't really what happened. Because I think in a way, he never really turned evil. Really, he kind of just like got corrupted a little bit. I think he lost his way. Like, I think he continued to love IU, wanted her. Never really wanted power. He only really wanted power to get her, and like lost his way along the way. You know what I'm like? Lost himself. I think he lost who he was, and what his ultimate goals were, and just like lost it in a way.
I think I told you, like, it's a different character. So I'm giving like a loose analogy here. So don't at me that like I know they're not the same. But he at times reminded me of Aaron Burr's character in Hamilton. And there's like a song in Hamilton called Wait for It. And it's basically like, very much like Hamilton is out there like chasing it and going for it and gunning it. And I'm going to be here waiting for it. And I'm going to wait for my moment. Like, and I'm trying to even think of like what the line is, but it's like, I'm not still or something. I'm just lying in wait. But like, that's the idea. And I feel like that is what the eighth prince, like if you asked him what he was thinking, he would be saying, I'm being strategic.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I think he thought he was being strategic, but I also think he made some bad choices.
Critical errors.
Very critical errors. And really, I think lost sight of what he needed to do to get where he was. I actually felt in the end, I really felt bad for the eighth prince. Because he didn't get anything he wanted. And did I think he was a good person throughout the whole thing? No, he made really shitty choices, and betrayed his brothers and helped kill another. And so he made terrible choices. But I also think like what makes me so sad is at the beginning of the drama, I think he was good, and I think he had a good heart. But I think he was corrupted by power, and like almost like an obsessive love. And so I think, and so that was one of my expectations. And
so
I think
one reason, sorry, I'm just going to jump in to just add an aside here. One reason I think that I knew you would like it is, again, it's not exactly the same, but there's elements that tease out that it has Game of Thrones vibes.
Absolutely, 100%.
Kang Han Nul and like the eighth prince role he plays could have been in Game of Thrones. Like that very much was a 100%. Game of Thrones role.
100%. I think that's why I liked Moon Lovers over some other dramas, because there was a messy element that Game of Thrones nails. Like in addition to like kind of the court politics, they get the messiness of, or Game of Thrones gets the messiness of the interpersonal relationships, without making it dull. And I think that's where Moon Lovers shines as well. Like I remember the second episode of My Dearest, when they were doing some of that court politics stuff, is when it lost me, because I think that's when it got away from like the specific personalities of the people in power. You just kind of had these like, sorry, guys in hats like talking, and you don't really care about any of them. But Moon Lovers and Game of Thrones does such a good job at making you care about these characters and giving them very distinct personalities that you're kind of like guessing how they're going to react and how they're going to move their chess pieces. We talked about this too about Kang Han-nul when we were talking in DMs. We said, or the Eighth Prince, we said basically like he was playing checkers and everyone else was playing like advanced chess. Like
he
Kang
thought he was
Han-nul
playing
didn't get.
chess. But
And Kang Han-nul thought everyone was playing chess. Like he thought everyone was playing chess with him. Or I mean, I'm sorry. He thought everyone was playing checkers with him. He's like, this is a checkers game. This is the rule of checkers. It's going to be okay. And doesn't realize that everyone else had different rules than him and were abiding by completely different rules. I almost feel like Kang Han-nul, his like moral compass at the beginning was almost too strict. And because of that, everyone was like past him, you know? So that's why I felt bad for him, because I feel like he could have been so good. But it didn't go that way.
Well, before we pivot to the fourth prince, let's talk just a little bit about the idea of love triangles.
Yeah.
Because are you a love triangle girl?
See, I feel like I've always been on the record saying no, but like I really liked this one. I think I'm like you, and I think this is the problem. I had been exposed to too many love triangles that I didn't like. So, say the Hunger Games. I didn't like that love triangle because I was like, it's Peeta. Like, she's gonna end up with Peeta. Like, why are we even bothering? I don't even remember his name. What was his name?
Gale.
I don't even care about Gale. Why are we talking about Gale? Go away, Liam Hemsworth. It's all about Peeta. And so this one was so interesting because it was really cool to see them both vie for her, and then also to see what they did and how that swayed her emotions. Because I was like, how is she going to react to some of the things they do? I really found that interesting to see how she would react because I couldn't always guess. So for this love triangle, if it's an even playing field, I like it. I guess I should say that.
Yeah, and I would say that something that this drama does that I wish more dramas did. I don't want all my dramas to do this, but I wish some did, because really most do not. Is there's times where we're given so much media of like iconic scenes from this drama that you kind of know where it's going. But if you went in just like cold called, blind, like no idea what was to come, I think there's times where you're like, I really don't know which way it's going to go for a long while, because
for a long, long while. I told you, if I didn't know, so after watching the first episode, if I didn't know that Lee Joon-gi was a love interest just based on like the poster of the drama, I would have thought he was the villain. I don't think I would have thought he was a love interest. Truly. Based on the first episode.
And that's the other thing, is she genuinely loves the Eighth Prince for a lot of the drama. And so I don't think we're used to seeing like secondary, like there's no real secondary male lead in that, because it's just like, usually it's like the one, I'm trying to think of like, there's a couple times where I still knew where it was probably going to go, but I felt like she might have had feelings both ways that were genuine. Startup got me there. Like Startup, at least we knew she like had feelings, like real. Most of the time there's it's like no feelings whatsoever.
Correct. And it's just the second lead like vying for her attention, and it just is like, it feels like a waste of time.
Such a waste of time.
My roommate Izagumio is sort of like that. I just feel like when I was watching that, it's sort of like the second lead was kind of like trying, and she's like, I'm not really into it. And then he just felt in the way.
Yeah.
And that was
just
frustrating.
waiting for them to get their own story. You're like, okay, second male lead, where's your B story? So we can just have that and like move on with our life.
Yeah. Yeah. And whereas for this one, I mean, I liked it. I have to say, I can't believe I'm saying it. Because honestly, she has feelings for, I would say, the Eighth Prince longer in the drama. If you're talking about like the span of episodes, I think episode 10 or 11, she's still hooked on the Eighth Prince. I mean, it's 20 episode drama.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about the scenes that made me cry.
Yes, please.
Because I actually, at one point I texted Lia and I was like, when are the men going to start dying? Because I'm tired of crying over women. Because I sobbed. First of all, over the death of the cousin, so that's Jesus' cousin. She was an older woman who was married to, by older, I just mean she was older than Jesus. She was an older cousin.
She's like a Nuna.
Yeah, she was a Nuna.
Or an Unni, sorry.
Unni. She was an Unni to Jesus, and she was married to the Eighth Prince, but she was sickly. So she was constantly coughing and pale.
Yeah.
The actress was I absolutely loved the actress. Actress was stunning, like
Mhm.
beautifully stunning. Um, the actress is Park Si-eun, by the way. I loved this character so much because she was so pure. She knew that she loved the Eighth Prince with like everything she had, but she knew the Eighth Prince didn't really love her, and she was like still willing to like she was still willing to live like that. She's like, that's good enough. It's good enough for me that like I love him. So when she saw and could tell that he had feelings for IU, she wanted that for him. She was like, I'm not going to last much longer. You can like live your life. So she was just
Yeah, she
so
was very
pure.
kind of, like, noble.
Yes. I think that's a good way to, yeah, she
Yeah,
was very noble.
she reminded me of, you haven't seen this, but we did talk about it in My Dearest.
Right.
She reminds me of the character Melanie in Gone with the Wind, who, again, does, like, a very, like, similar thing of, you know, she's on her way out and she tells Scarlett, like, "I know you've always loved him, like, live on and be happy." It's kinda like
Right.
it's the difference. It's not a noble idiot, it's like a noble death.
Right. So when she dies, she's being carried on the Eighth Prince back. And she kind of that's when she was like, I love you to the Eighth Prince. And he couldn't say it back. And she's just like, I know, and
Mhm.
it's okay. And I sobbed. I really, truly sobbed. And it reminded me a lot of because he's like, because, and then I use crying. And the Eighth Prince says, like,
Yeah.
shh, don't let her sleep. Don't wake her up. And it reminded me a lot of the death. So spoiler for Mr. Sunshine, a little bit of a spoiler. The like inn owner when Gudong Mei is carrying her on his back at the beach.
Yes,
I can't even
exactly.
I'm sorry, I can't even think about that scene. I'm
I
gonna
know.
tear up. I cannot think about that scene without tearing up. Um, so it reminded me of that scene and I just loved her. And then I also cried over Lady O's death. So this
Yeah,
was a really Did you cry over Lady O's death? Do you remember?
I'm sure I did. It's not one of the ones that I go back and, like, reflect on, but I'm sure I did.
This one this one killed me. It absolutely killed me cuz what happened was Jesus being framed for um like attempted murder or something. And Lady O, so Jesus a court lady at this point, and so the head court lady, Lady O, really has taken a liking to IU, kind of treats her like her own daughter. And court lady O, we find out, is like the childhood lover, not childhood, but like
Yeah, oh
first,
god, yes. It's just like, ah!
yeah, like the first love of the emperor. And the emperor still loves her, and she still loves him,
Yep,
and she knows she can never be with him. She's like, I'm never going to be an empress. Like that's okay. Like I still want to serve him. And so she pleads with him and says, I was given poison. I had to miscarry our daughter
yep,
or um, and I want to protect Jesus, who I feel is my daughter, like, or
yep,
you know, and she's like, I'm also dying. So I did it. Like
yep,
I'm the one who did this crime. And of course, when IU finds out, she is like devastated and she tries to
yes.
save her. And that's what leads to
Ugh, I mean, yes.
that's what leads to the iconic rain scene. But when Court Lady O is hanged, I mean, I sobbed, and I realized now as I was like watching the whole drama because I really didn't cry over like any of the men
Which is funny because
dying.
I did over one.
Yeah, well, so even Baekhyun, so
Yeah,
he's the 10th prince. He's basically just taken out because he's a contender for the throne. But he's with his wife, and he and his wife like he didn't like when they first got married. He didn't really want to, but she like loved him ever since she was a child. So when they died, I didn't cry. But then when her father shows up and says to Jesus, did he love her? Was my child loved?
Yes.
And IU says yes. And the father says, okay, well then that's great. That's when I cried. So I think there is something. I don't necessarily cry over deaths. I think it has to do when there's a death that surrounds some type of like love or unrequited love.
Yep.
I don't know.
Death to death. Like, I was sad when the crown prince died.
Yeah,
and I was
me too.
surprised. I was surprised how sad I was, because I think I was like, he was a likable man.
Very much so. Very likable.
And so I was sad when he died. Did I cry? No. I think the 10th prince's death got me because you got that moment of happiness and possibility right before it.
I know.
Where they're like making the boats and like, you know, whatever. And I think that gets me too. Because my daughter's in Hadestown, which is one of Amy's favorite musicals. And it's the story of Orpheus and Eurydice, like the myth. It's a tragedy. We've been listening to the soundtrack to Hadestown a lot in my house. And we were listening to it yesterday when we were driving to San Jose, and we were stuck in traffic. So it was like 45 minutes of listening. And I recommend everyone listen to the soundtrack. I really like it. I think it's a really cool, it's kind of like gritty. It's kind of jazzy in parts. And so anyway, there's like, it's a tragedy. I don't need to spell out for you how to, I mean, you can look up a myth if you don't know it, but right before you get to the end, what makes it so tragic is you've got this moment of high possibility.
Right.
And I think that's what gets me. When you've got this moment where everything feels like maybe it's going to be okay. Mm-hmm. And so in this, I felt like it was like a couple that like, I really liked that she was all in. Like that, I like that B romance because it was like a warrior general daughter who just grew up being like a fucking bear, essentially.
Yeah, I loved her
and then this
so
kind
much.
Of, like dainty prince.
He is, I know. And he just wanted to own a toy store. Oh, when he said his dream was to own a toy store, my heart broke open.
Right.
I was like, oh, this precious bean.
And he wasn't into her. He was basically like, this is a lot. Like, I don't know what this is. He was kind of snobby. And she was like, you my man. And that's
she was.
Mine. Yeah. And they had this moment where you're like, oh my God, this could really go well for them. Like, this could be something beautiful. Like, I can see how this could work.
Right.
Boom. You are murdered.
Boom, dead. I know. I will be honest, though, during that whole high time, I was like, they're going to die. This is it. Like, that was the only prediction I could really make for Moon Lovers. Because I have to be honest, this drama was so messy and rocky, but yet maybe that's what made it so compulsively watchable. There was just no,
you like the rules. So it's not a romance.
No,
it's love stories. And because it's not a romance, it doesn't follow what you would expect to be like the beats of a romance. And I'm not knocking the beats of romance. Like the beats of romance are very important and they work really well.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's fun to just be like, fuck it. Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah. We're just winging it and it's going to end in tragedy. Just, like it was.
And are there plot holes? Yes. And they bothered me to the same degree that Tale of Nine Tails plot holes bothered me, which is to say, like, at times I was like, like it would have been so easy to just not have that plot hole. Like, there was no reason to have such a plot hole. But overall, I'm like, did it impact my enjoyment? Did it ruin this drama for me? No, never. At no point did a plot hole ruin this drama for me.
Yeah, I mean, there were just random things that happened too. Like there were a lot of like this is one thing. I just finished watching Undercover High School, which made negative logical sense. I loved it. So Amy and I are recording this week about it. I loved it, but it made way less sense than Moon Lovers, which is a freaking time travel. It made less sense than Moon Lovers. So I guess for me, I was like, hey, Moon Lovers is like hanging in there. Like, yeah, making a little bit of sense. So I guess I just when crazy things happened, I was like, I'm along for the ride. Like I looked at it as a soap opera. So like in soap operas, people are getting possessed and random shit. So I guess that this isn't Mr. Sunshine, which we talked about. Like, so I was okay when like weird things happened or things that didn't really make sense or kind of came out of the blue,
Yeah.
Like, this was a drama where they didn't introduce a gun in episode 1 and then have it go off in episode 3. It would be like they introduce a gun that goes off immediately because they didn't set it up. Like, there was a lot of things that weren't set up in advance. And there were certain things too, like, I will be straight up. So one of the biggest reasons at the end for like the final breakup between, well, I don't know about final breakup, but kind of a big breakup between Haesu and our masked Lee Joon-gi is that he finds out that she used to love the Eighth Prince. I thought he knew the whole time. I thought he knew. When, like, really, I did. I totally thought he knew this whole time. So when he's like mad at her, I was like, huh, okay. Like, I don't know. I thought he knew the whole time. I must have missed something, or I thought he was like giving looks that he like knew. But I also don't care. Like, I was like, okay, so he didn't know. All right, that's fine. I'm going with it. But yeah, we should probably talk about Lee Joon-gi, I guess, a little bit.
Yes, Lee Joon-gi and the sister. So, okay, Lee Joon-gi, first, aesthetic, 3,000 out of 3,000, no notes. Yes.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
I could have taken 50% more mask.
So that's the thing. I was like, put the mask back on. I love the mask.
Yes.
And I remember thinking, these masks are super fucking elaborate. Who is he sitting? I was like, is he sitting down bedazzling these like masks? Like, why are they so elaborate? And then you find out later that the emperor, his dad, sends him a mask every year. So I was like, okay. I mean, checks out. Like,
yeah. They're
the emperor
close the plot hole on that.
I mean, that was a closed plot hole. I'm not going to be mad. I mean, I was like, okay, that solves my question about the masks.
And the reason he has the mask is because his mom, in a fit of jealousy and drama, threatens to kill him to the dad. Basically is like, if you take another wife, whatever, like, I'm going to kill me and our son. Definitely the son first, though. Me, probably, maybe not, but, And then as they like dramatically wrestle for the knife, the kid gets a knife in the face. It's an artful scar.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not meant to have a scar and be king.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a problem too. So anyway, so at that point, you had because the mom really is one of those like one-dimensional baddies. Like, there's a lot going on. Like, she loves one kid, really hates the other kid, fires burning arrows has fiery arrows fired at him.
Which, that scene, they show that scene for less than 10 seconds, then never talk about it. No. Which is very strange.
They're just like, she's like, I don't know, just fire some arrows at him, just put him on fire,
flaming arrows at him, and then we're never going to talk about it again.
Yeah, we know he has trauma. He has mama issues.
The biggest mommy issues I've ever seen.
So unpack, because I liked some of your takes that you had on the mommy issue-ness.
Well, first of all, I want to say he is another version of Gudong Mei, which I think did we talk about that in the first episode when we talked about it?
No, I think you kind of unpacked that for me recently, where I hadn't even seen it for myself.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was like, he's a form of Gudong Mei, like this kind of like this obsessive love, and it's kind of toxic, and it's kind of like, I hate that you're giving me feelings, but then he's also like super devoted, and he's willing to like in a way hurt her if it's better for her, like similar to like Gudong Mei cutting off the ponytail, remember?
Yeah.
So, but when I was watching it, I'm not sure I'm not sure if I remember everything I told you about the mommy issues, but I thought he had been like over the mommy issues. And then at the end, when she's like dying, basically, he like refuses to let his brothers in because he's like, this is my time. I've never gotten alone time with mama. This is my time with her. And I remember like that really did hurt me. I was like, he's still not over this. He's emperor. Not that you should ever be over, like, your mom abandoning you. I don't
Yeah.
mean it that way, but it was I guess it was more that, "Oh my god, that this is how deep this, like, internal scar runs." Where even when she's, like, dying, he's, like, willing to, like, lock himself in a room with her to get her undivided attention as she's dying, and he's, like, happy about it. He's like, "This is a great time with mom." It's just wild.
True. It's true.
It's wild. I mean, but Lee Joon-gi was so good. I mean, he's so good in this. Every time he spoke, his voice is, like, somehow perfect. Like, his voice is great. His look was great. There's so many up close shots of eyes in this drama. Like, the director loved that. Like, just shoving the camera in people's faces because there's so many up close shots of eyes. Like, very like, that's just the screen. So you just got lips, but, like, a lot of the screen size was, like, eyes. And he has that, like, kind of hooded eye in a way, so, like, you kind of only see, like, the lower part of his, like, iris, and it kills me. It's just so good. And I said too, he's emoting with, like, one eye throughout the whole thing.
He is. And I think, because I don't think I mean, sometimes I like to play like either or games. I'm not playing an either or game here because this is how serious this is to me. I don't have an either or between his performance in Flower of Evil or his performance in Moon Lovers. I like what
Oh.
I like. I'm not going to make anyone pick.
Yeah.
I mean, this is far superior to Lawless Lawyer, let's be honest. But
Oh, well, yes.
I'm just saying
Yes.
that, like, I like how he commits to things, and I'm just trying to think of, like, how he plays it in a way that feels like he's dead serious when he plays this. Serious
Yeah.
as a heart attack when he plays this. And yet I feel as if, like, this is not a drama that's ever it's taking itself as, like, we wanna entertain you. Like, this is like in Gladiator when Russell Crowe has the sword out and is like, "Are you not entertained?" That's what this drama is. This drama is like, we are not here to, like, go to the UN and negotiate world peace.
No,
We are here to fucking entertain you.
we are.
And I really like it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not here to edify myself. I'm not here to grow as a person. I am not here to, like, reach new insights on humanity. I am here to be in my id and enjoy.
That is what Moon Lovers does, and that's why I loved it so much. It was so fun, but yeah, I mean, I was so invested in these characters too. Like, that's the thing. It was like I was massively entertained, and then it also gripped me by the throat. And you know what I mean? Like, I was heavily, heavily invested, and I was emotionally changed.
So what you made a point, and I think we should touch on this too, is Lee Joon-gi's character breaks basically every romantic hero rule.
Oh, I don't even know where to start. So we talked about the first episode. I mean, one of the first things he does in the first episode is he kills a horse. And I said it's literally the opposite of Save the Cat, which we talk about a lot, which are like, it's like a screenwriting kind of guide where, like, you give a character who may be, like, not empathetic, you give him something to save, like something vulnerable. Lee Joon-gi does the exact opposite. Like, if you wanted us to care about him, you would have given him, like, I don't know, a poor child a biscuit or something. Like, you would have done something like that. Instead, you have him kill a horse. And he continually is making bad romance choices, but it, like, works. Like, he kisses her without her consent. She tells him to, like, go away, and he's like, not. He's just like, no. Like, I don't. He breaks every single romance hero rule. He beats her best friend to death in a carpet.
Sure does.
Beats her to death because like, this just, I do want to talk about that just a minute, because I actually really, really liked IU's response. So her handmaiden essentially was sort of like spying on her, and it sort of betraying her, but not like fully. Like we all know the handmaiden like really did love IU, but the handmaiden was in love with one of the princes, one of the evil princes, basically, who kind of used her affection to like get her to do things for him. And I love that IU was like, look, she did stupid stuff for love, and I don't hate her. Like I don't hate her. And I hate you for beating her to death, which is wild. It's wild to me that you're presenting him as a romance hero and he beat her best friend to death. Like but I'm watching it and I'm still into it. I'm like, oh, he's still dreamy.
And then he's like, look, real talk. I'm gonna have to fuck my sister, my actual sister.
I have to fuck my sister to get,
yeah, got to do that to give her
heirs.
And you know what, baby, you my number one. Like I just gotta fuck her to get the baby. Mm-hmm. You're the queen of my heart,
and you're gonna give me babies too.
Oh yeah, and babies I'm gonna like and not shoot arrows at, and then we're good. Like, look, this is the HEA that I'm giving you, and I see no problem with this whatsoever.
So this is another thing too. This drama, this is kind of what I thought for a while, is that, okay, so once Lee Joon-gi kind of really like defeats the baddies for the most part, like he either defeats the baddies or he renders them,
he neutralizes them.
Yeah, thank you. That's the word he essentially neutralizes them like the Eighth Prince. He like exiles him, like sets him up for something, exiles him. Yeah, really, really takes the power out of pretty much everyone. He's emperor and he is IU, who's like his like top court person. I don't know, court lady, his lover. And in any other, if this was a romance, it would have ended there. It just would have ended. It would have been like, he's the emperor, she's the lover of his heart, or whatever.
Well, he's gonna burn down the world and say, "This is my person now. I'm making her queen."
Yeah, and that's the end. Like that. That is like if they would have ended the drama even without making her queen. If they would have just ended the drama, I would have been like, okay, HEA. Instead, they keep going. They keep going and they wait for it to all fall apart. And because I'm not trying to say that Moon Lovers is like reality, but like that's how I would actually suspect it to go. It would be super messy. People die in court politics. You know, people are, I don't know, assassinated or whatever. So, but yeah, basically this drama is just like, oh, you think it's an HEA? No, we're gonna show you.
So explain to folks. I mean, I'm just curious. I have no idea if anyone's listening who hasn't seen this drama because like we're really just spoiling it away.
Right.
How come he makes the choice to marry and fuck his sister?
Right. I know. Which, first of all, the princess, Yeonhwa, she is played by Kang Ha-na, who was the she plays a lot of evil characters, and I feel bad because I like her.
Bitch face is why.
Yeah, she was like the mean sister in Startup. I loved her. I said she was like Cersei from Game of Thrones. If you've seen Game of Thrones, I mean, a less deadly version, an evil version than Cersei.
She's less evil, but she's evil.
She's pretty evil. But
she's a realist.
Yeah, see, I couldn't hate her. The entire drama, I couldn't find myself hating her because, first of all, she was really smart. She probably should have been emperor. She probably should have, if she would have been Ook, she'd be emperor with IU. 100% emperor with IU as her empress. Like, it would have worked out. She would have figured out a way to make it work. Ook didn't. The Eighth Prince. Because she is the Eighth Prince's sister. She's Ook's sister, Kang Ha-na. So she's the one who's also playing chess. And really devises a way to get herself in the end, she wins, kinda. I mean, she's the one who gets to F her brother, because she's basically like, if you marry me, the nobles will fall in line. You need the nobles to fall in line. This is the only way to do it. The Goryeo is going to fall apart. marry me. And he's like, all right, then you gotta help betray your brother because I don't want him like coming for my throne. And she's like, no problem. No
Yep.
problem. I'll betray my brother if my son can be emperor. And yeah. And so the the emperor, Ijungi's like, sure. So then he just does it with his sister, half sister.
Half sister. But it's
But
like,
as you
and
said,
she has a tragic too, because like she kind of gets everything she wanted and then doesn't, because
true.
like that's her fatal flaw, is that like he gets like everyone gets what they want. It's like the classic tragedy. You get what you want, but it's not going to give you what you need.
Yes,
And so he
exactly.
becomes the emperor. It fucks up his entire life.
It does. It's and that's the thing. It's like there's no. They could have just given us an HEA with him as emperor, and it would have all been happy. And it's like no.
No.
They're going to show you what actually happens when it gets messy and when greed corrupts and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's like real world, real world Goryo.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I was like, well, I mean, this is probably what happened.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
so yeah, if it was a 12 episoder, we would have gotten like the HEA. But yeah, this is what happens after. Then all she wanted was she wanted her son to become emperor, but her problem was, she, as ruthless as she was and logical as she was, she wanted she wanted Lee Jung-gi's character to care for her, and
I know.
and so he didn't. He loved IU, and then IU wanted him to love her, but she also wanted him to respect her and not fuck his sister.
Yeah, I mean, the end of their relationship is sad because I felt like so um the final straw. Like I think there was a lot of things that led up to this. Like I don't think this wasn't going to work. Like neither of them were going to be happy with the arrangement while he was emperor. It's just the way it was. Like in theory he could have made her empress, but it would have been really messy. It would have really caused strife among, like, say, the nobles, because the nobles really wanted him to marry his sister. So there were like a lot of, I guess he thought, I'm emperor, I can do whatever I want, and it just doesn't work that way. It shouldn't, in theory. Leaders shouldn't just do whatever they want. And so I think, yeah, in the end, I just feel like like the final reason where he found out she had formerly been in love with the eighth prince, I don't think that like fight necessarily mattered, because I just feel like the whole thing was inevitable. Like one thing was always going to be the straw that broke the camel's back. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And then she goes to live with the 14th prince, Jisoo, who is honestly really fantastic in this. I absolutely loved him. I will say the biggest shock of the drama was that he didn't die. The whole time, I thought he was going to die. The whole time.
So why?
Because he was kind of this like warfare guy, and you knew he was carrying a torch for IU.
Yeah.
So I thought there was going to be at some point where he sacrifices himself for her. There was going to have to be.
Yeah, he was kind of like, and he was like a more minor character.
And I think that's the thing with how this drama ended, that maybe people didn't like. This drama ended on a whimper.
Yeah.
So
and then okay, let's say, so he gets everything he wants in the end too, which is he gets IU. Everyone in this drama wants to fuck IU.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone in this drama wants to fuck IU.
Mm-hmm.
And then this prince who, like, he's in the drama and he's likable throughout the drama.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not a serious contender for the fucking IU sweepstakes.
No.
Ends up with IU in the sense that, like, she is with him, like she is in his home.
Right. I mean, they're not intimate
together, but he gets to like have her close.
And he's happy with that.
Yeah.
Like I actually think he is like, I'm okay with this, that I got to have you with me.
Yeah.
And I got to care for you.
She loves him.
I think oh yeah, she does. I mean,
and if it continued, could they have loved each other? Maybe.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I think that the end, there wasn't, I think what I thought was going to happen with Moon Lovers, okay, was there was going to be this like big climax at the end where someone dies for someone else. There's sacrificing, blah, blah, blah. And then that's what I thought was going to happen with Moon Lovers.
Yeah.
And it didn't. It's just this like steady decline of a tragedy, which normally I think I would hate, but I didn't hate this.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. I mean, when Lee Joon-gi as an emperor ignores all her letters, she ends up dying without seeing him one last time. When he like arrives and like hugs her urn of ashes, just sobbing his heart out. I mean, I'm crying. Like, I felt every ounce of like that grief. Like Lee Joon-gi is just incredible. And I can't say like I hated any of it.
Were
Like,
you
I kept
surprised that she dies?
Yeah.
But dies-ish. Because basically the body that she's in the Goryo dies.
Right.
And then
And let's be real, she dies for like physical reasons. She doesn't just like, she dies from the after effects of when she'd been tortured and like stress on her heart, basically. She doesn't
she's
have
just
like a health.
heartbroken. She's just heartbroken.
That too. And then she had a baby, so it further stressed her. So like she died for like a physical reason.
But she kind of dies like a Victorian death. Like she kind of just dies of like sadness and ennui.
She dies like a beautiful, pale death while listening to music. I mean, it's
Yes.
it's a beautiful death.
He's playing her like which prince is it that gets her in the end? Is it the 14th?
14th prince, yeah.
Yeah, he's playing her a song. She does not have a desire in the world to live for her child.
Don't get me started.
Not even one.
That child goes to the nanny, and then we do not hear her talk about the child. She's just still mooning over the fucking emperor.
Yeah, like there's no no maternal bone in her body.
No, because then she wakes up in modern day. Just wakes up with a gasp in modern day.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, why am I crying?
Yeah.
And she goes to work. Okay. And she talks about she goes where it's like makeup stuff, of course, because that's what she does. And then she goes and like sees all these old paintings, which I'm not really sure like where she was.
She goes to like a museum.
I guess. Yeah. It's
she
like
sees like an art, like there's like a Goryo art exhibit on.
That's it.
And she's drawn. So she wakes up back in her original body.
Right.
Has time passed? Like,
yeah,
unclear.
Because did she not jump in the water? It's not like she wakes up in the hospital and they're like, oh my God.
Wakes up and she's just back like living. Like,
yeah. So does she ever jump in the water? I don't know. Cause she's back in her bed.
Yeah. No worries. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Back. We don't see her family that she never ever gave a shit about the entire time she was in Goryo, never missed a single person.
Yeah, she would maybe mention her brother in passing just to relate to other people. She was never like, I miss them, or I miss like you said, she's never like, I miss modern convenience. Like not even an ounce of like missing things.
No, not one. Never
like running water, like does not care.
No friends. She's just like, whatevs. And so same with the baby. But now she's back in modern times. She wakes up, doesn't remember shit, except she's drawn to this art exhibit of Goryo work.
Mm-hmm.
She walks in, she's looking through, and it's basically like her life in painting.
Right.
Getting a funny feeling until she comes to a painting of the fourth prince, who is the king. Mm-hmm. And what happens?
Yeah, so then she has a flashback, and she remembers everything. And she falls to her knees crying, saying, oh my God, I'm so sorry that I left you. But you know what she doesn't remember? The baby. Ever. Never once.
No flashback touches on that baby one time.
Not even a bit. Does not remember the baby. Does not remember giving fucking birth to a baby. Is never like, I'm sorry I left you, my child.
Nope.
She's just like, God damn, I love the emperor and I miss him. And that's it. That's it.
Yep.
And it ends by, then you get like a flashback back to the emperor who's like in the palace. And he's like, I don't think she was from my time. So if she can't come to me, I'll go to her. And you're just
with no real like connect, like she's dead and he hugged her ashes. And
yeah, like no real
what?
connection. Right, correct. Like that's a mental leap. That's a mental leap for a Goryeo emperor to think she's a time traveler. Massive, massive mental leap. And this is the thing, is that then it ends. That's it. He's like, he does this little hand mask thing and then it ends. And I do remember seeing that there was like an alternate ending. So I looked it up and there are screenshots. So there's no, like, you can't actually see this. Like there's no like video recording, but there's screenshots of a recording where as she's on her knees in the like museum crying, a hand hands her a handkerchief, and when she looks up, it's Lee Joon-gi in a suit in like modern haircut. That's it. And they never put that in the drama. Why wouldn't you put that in the drama? I'm so confused. Did they think they were going to have a season 2?
I don't know if they thought they were going to have a season 2 or if they just thought that would be a really fun way to close it out. Was like, because I expected, because it's an odd ending, because I don't feel like I feel like it ends a little bit like how Duna ends, and that there's like an ambiguous take that you can kind of like put what you want, because I don't feel like it just finishes where she's like, oh, like, because if it had just ended with her being like, oh my God, and crying.
Yeah, but no, it ends with
like,
this.
Okay, it ends as a full tragedy.
Yeah.
But then we do a flashback to like the sun is going, the eclipse, the crazy eclipse is happening again. With
yeah, that's true. That's
the red sun and whatever. And essentially he pulls like a Bram Stoker's Dracula, like, I am going to cross oceans of time to find you.
Right.
Boom, end scene.
Boom, end scene. And so I was actually okay with that. I was.
Yeah, I was too.
I don't know if I needed the handkerchief scene, but I feel like, why did they include it? It would have been really kind of cool. Because I have seen that there were people online who were like, I want a season 2. And I really want people to, if you think you want a season 2 of Moon Lovers, I really want you to.
What would we do?
Yeah, I need you to sit with that. I really do. What do you think is going to happen in season 2 of Moon Lovers? Because it would be let's be real. It would be a completely different drama. Not even an ounce of what you liked about Moon Lovers is not going to be like what season 2 would be. Him coming into modern day. It would be verging on silly. It would be weird, right?
I mean, I have no desire for a second season.
Same.
It would have to be like the next generation. And I'm like, let's just stop the trauma. I mean, are we going to have like IU's daughter then hook up with her half brother who's the king's heir? Like, no, right. I would, I'm never going to, I'm always like, I don't want an incest. I mean, I really don't at the end of the day want an incest HEA. I just am surprised when they go there. And so in this case, this drama really went there. Like, was just like, we're going for historical accuracy. We have a drama that stretches incredulity every step of the way. And we're not going to make this a stepsister just to like not ick you out.
Right.
We are going to make it's half. But what did we say? Like, half sibling is still full incest.
It's still full. Yeah. Half sibling is still full incest.
So they were like, we're not going to make this palatable. You stick with it.
Yeah. So, like, the ending was just, I was okay. That's another thing. Like, I didn't hate the ending. I didn't hate the ending.
I didn't hate the ending either.
Because in the end, she didn't die. I think she did die knowing the emperor still loved her. I do, even though I think she says something like, he must really hate me. No, she knows he loves her. And then after she died, he knows that she still desired him and loved him and everything. And her memories were just of like loving him.
So as we were wrapping up, we had some technical difficulties. So this is Megan coming in to say that we're signing off. And I also want to say, on a personal note, thank you to Lia for encouraging me to watch Moon Lovers, because it was definitely an experience and I enjoyed it. And I hope you enjoyed our discussion about Moon Lovers. It was a good time. So let us know what you think and we'll catch you next time. Annyeong!
Kamsahamnida. Thank you for listening to Afternoona Delight. Where can you find us outside the pod? Head on over to afternoonadelight.com. That's AFTERNOONADELIGHT.com. You'll find links to all our social media, our book recs, K-pop and K-skincare recs, and if you want even more Afternoona Delight, because really who doesn't, you can join our Patreon, where you can choose the patron level that's right for you. Join in daily K-drama conversations, listen to bonus podcast episodes just for patrons, and participate in our monthly live K-drama support group via Zoom. We can't wait for you to be a part of the community. Until next time, annyeong!